Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Oscar Valencia, founder of Breaking Down Your Walls. I've been shooting a couple videos this last week or so. You've seen probably a couple of them. As many of you know, I'm a certified coach and consultant on the business side of the salon and spa industry. Been doing that for over 18 years now. Second generation stylist, 3 out of 4 kids as well. This is my 30-year anniversary in the industry. Shh, don't tell anybody, I'm not that old. and I've been talking a little bit about our thoughts and beliefs and the bricks. And here are my bricks that I have that are the foundation of my company. And for those of you who know the backstory and or if you want to go watch the back videos, you'll be able to understand where that came from. So before we get started today on what I'd like to talk about, today I want to talk about teams, our salon teams, outside of the salon industry, your team, your company, your personnel, etc. But before we go down that road, my daily ritual is drawing 3 bricks every day. And then I kind of set my intentions for the day and I read the bricks and the definition of the word and the inspirational message on each one. And that gets me pumped up. It helps me create my intention for the day, etc. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that today, but I do want to do my ritual. So let me just grab 3 here. Let's see what we got. So as you can see, I fan out my bricks. You don't have to have a display board like I do in my office, but I just grabbed 3. I fan them out. These over here, these are all the ones that have been my last 2 times that I've done it, yesterday and the day before. So today I have foresight. Let me bring this back up. Sorry, y'all. I have foresight. I have uncomfortable. And I have responsibility. So these are kind of interesting ones for the topic for today. So let's go with foresight first. The definition: the act or power of foreseeing, prevision, prescience, an act of looking forward. The inspirational message says, how appropriate that we have this particular message today as I'm going to be talking about team. The quote is from Vince Lombardi, of all people. Winning isn't everything, but wanting to is. That's going to be key in our conversation here in just a moment. Uncomfortable. Causing discomfort or distress, painful, irritating. In a state of discomfort, uneasy, conscious of stress or strain. And here is the inspirational quote by Miss Oprah Winfrey. Miss Oprah. If you look at what you have in life, you'll always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough. Oprah Winfrey. And then we have responsibility. A particular burden of obligation upon one who is responsible, reliable, or dependability. There are no traffic jams along the extra mile. Another great quote as we move into our team conversation. So let's have it. How's your team doing? How's your personnel? How's your staff? So it's interesting. I had a conversation last night via Facebook messaging with a past client and friend. And we were talking about her challenges in actually even getting people to respond to ads for a job. And when she does, they're not the greatest of quality of candidates. And she was also saying that unfortunately the schools right now these days are not putting out real strong talent yet either. So she's in a position that she feels she's 10 to 20 employees short of where they need to be. They have, I think, 3 salons to where they want to be successful. And then she also mentioned that, some of these individuals and some kind, I'm not trying to bust on the millennials, but this was kind of part of the conversation. And this is a real fact going on in the world right now of business, and especially in the salon industry. I've heard this probably 10, 14 times in the last few months from people paraphrasing very basically the same thing. So she said that, even the ones she does have are only working 20 to 30 hours a week right now. And that's good enough. And we'll talk a little bit about that. I spoke a little bit about that yesterday. When is it good enough? So if that's the case, and if we're having challenges getting more bodies, good bodies, great bodies, And the schools aren't putting out top stylists. And I get their students; they're just graduating. I get all that, but there's different. They come out at different stages from many different schools, according to the school and their culture, as well as to the product they put out to the street. So I told her that if that's the case, and you're down in numbers of actual bodies, and you're down in hours, we need to be able to maximize the most out of what we have. Would you all agree? And so did she. And I said, that's what I bring to the party. So, as a coach and a consultant for the last 19 years almost, and doing a lot of business seminars and coaching, I find that many times when I come into these salons post a business seminar, and sometimes after they've been coached maybe even over a year, over time, the systems that are solid systems, they kind of go away and disappear, or they're watered down versions of what they were really originally and intended to be. So as I keep looking at this and going, okay, if the systems are solid and the owners are solid, and sometimes the owners, lack some leadership skills because they're just trying to survive, unfortunately. And I look at the global picture of everything. What's the common denominator in everything? And it comes down to the personnel, to the team, to the staff. So if everything's solid in and of its own, then I'm thinking that as an overall, the team as a unit within that company has some weaknesses, has some chinks in the armor, and definitely has some holes. So as a athlete my whole life growing up and getting drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates for professional baseball, all I've ever done has been part of teams. I'm passionate about sports. I was passionate about teams. But every team I ever played on, I was always the Vince Lombardi quote here. And it is, winning isn't everything, but wanting to is. So in our hiring process, are we hiring winners? Are we hiring people that want to win? Are we hiring people that want to be successful? Or are we as owners kind of really desperate right now and we need a body? And I know that's the universal conversation out there. So if you think about a sports team, let's say football, and you make the team, you're hired, you have the playbook, you're handed your little playbook right here, and it has everything you need in it to be successful. When you're actually on the field and the quarterback in the huddle calls the play XYZ 43 left, right, bank, then you can't go and do what you want to do. You have a specific role and a specific job to do of the 11 guys on your team that are on the field right there, and you have a particular responsibility in that job. Translate to front desk operations, concierge, the hair department, the nail department, the estheticians of the massage, whatever the case may be. We all have our individual responsibilities and roles, and the end goal is to win. Have we defined what winning is? Yes, some salons and owners and companies set goals for their people. Those are your wins. And so when I come in and do my experiential team building program, a 2-day workshop, I go through my workbook. And in my workbook, we are getting into a lot of stuff. And I come in with a bunch of games. I get us away from the business of hair and the business of salon and the business of spa. And it's time to have some fun. But through the fun, we're really working on so many things that are necessary to be a solid, solidified, what I call high-performance teams. There's a lot of teams in any particular league, but only 2 go to a championship out of 10, 12, 15, 20 teams. Only 2 make it to the World Series. Only 2 make it to the Super Bowl, et cetera, et cetera. 2 at the Stanley Cup. So what makes those teams that much higher on any given day and year? And so I'm really trying to bring that mindset to our industry. And I work on what we call creating shared mental models. And shared mental models is more than everybody getting on the same page. We work on what we call a sounding, where everybody has an equal opportunity to speak their thoughts and beliefs how to accomplish a particular goal. We literally talk about this concept called when is it good enough? So, in my training with my mentor from Tom Leahy, when he took us down this road, we were talking about when is it good enough? And he brought in an analogy of Blockbuster videos. How many of you guys remember that? Used to be a storefront, brick and mortar, right? And then what came along? Netflix. Netflix actually offered to buy Blockbuster. I don't even remember the number, 500 million, a billion, whatever the number was. And Blockbuster said, no, we're good. We're good enough. Where's Blockbuster now? Out of business, right? So when is it good enough? Another thing that we go through in our team building. I take the teams through a way of majority usually wins. If you have a vote, it's a majority vote. I teach how to create consensus to where everybody is on board and there is no majority or minority. I take them through that through my team building program. I take the new rule of thumb, which is thumbs up, thumbs down, or the sideways thumb. Spoke a little bit about that the other day. The sounding model. I take everybody through the 7-step problem-solving system. So you identify the problem. What are your resources? You do brainstorming, trial and error, evaluation and refinement, implementation, and then what we always don't do much of at all is celebrate. How often do we celebrate? So what's a celebration on a ball field? High fives, knucks, maybe elbow to elbow, pat on the butt. Don't do that in the salon. That's sexual harassment. But on the sports field, we get into celebration. When's the last time you gave somebody a high five for a great color or a great cut or a great makeup job or those great nails or the nail art, whatever that might be? We need to celebrate this stuff a lot more. I come in and I really bring a lot of what we call individuals of our team, and I bring them together. And when I'm done in my 2-day program, they have a much higher understanding of what it takes to be a high-performance team. I take them through these games with Legos and Connects, where two teams have one team will have a finished product, one team has the raw material, and one at a time from each team they have to come, and the finished product team has to convey to the raw material team how to duplicate and make an exact copy because they have the exact material to do so. And they get 90 seconds each round to communicate, what I call ComStat, communication station. And then they go back to their area, and the people with the finished product are strategizing for the next person to come convey information. The people who just received the information go back and try to assemble what they heard. After 7 rounds or sooner, I've had some do it in 4, blew me away. Garbo Salon, woo, you guys rock. And so when you're able to do that, you are having to communicate in very detailed fashion outside of our norm. So, there's a red block that's 1.5 inches with 6 dots on it, standing next to a little white one, next to a little blue one. Whatever terminology you make, you have to start creating shared mental models so both teams get it. And then if it comes together, it should be mirrored and identical. And then I have a connector that connects the 2 pieces, assuming it was done correctly, and I bridge the gap. So fun stuff, but very strong detail. Then we do a debriefing on the back end of every single activity. And the debriefing are led by either myself, them, they get rolling, but what comes out of it is they always bring it back to the salon and or the company and how these relate to our day-to-day operations at work. So what I really want to put out there to you is if your team is not where you want it to be, imagine a high-performance team, owners right now. If you had a high-performance team, how much more money do you think they could make? Because if they make, who makes more? If they make more, you make more. So if they're in a high-performance team, they're going to make more money, and the salon and the company is going to make more money, right? If it's a high-performance team, are the guests going to win? Because they're creating a higher experience as well. Would you all agree? And then I also have the salon edition. So the original edition is red, and those are the ones with the words. And then the salon edition are white bricks. And I literally just opened this pack a few minutes ago. And so they're not words. They're actually like little customer service extra to-dos. So for instance, this bottom one right here, that at the bottom of the pack says, give the guest your undivided attention during their visit and not talking with other stylists across the salon. Build a professional friendship with them based on trust and respect. Do we know this? Yes. Do we do it all the time? Heck no. I'm in and out of salons all over the country, and I see people carrying on a full conversation next to each other, and the client's just sitting there. So we got to kick up our customer service experience, take that to the next level as a collective team as well. Sit down face-to-face with every guest that visits your salon and do a proper consultation. Treat each guest every time as though it was their first at the salon. Never get too comfortable. So that's just a couple of the salon bricks, the salon edition, which is also on the website, breakingdownyourwalls.com. Owners, if your team needs to go to another level, if you're struggling to have them be producing what you need them to do and what you'd like them to do, bring me in. Let's do a 2-day workshop. This is one of the best values in the industry for the size of most salons, and it comes out to a few $100s per person for the 2 days. That's one of the cheapest seminars you'll ever get. Having said that, what I do love and what I am passionate about is teams. And I want to be the one to come in and bring your team to the next level. I want to take them from being individuals and maybe a somewhat of a team into a solidified high-performance production team. They have to have some new ideas and ways to do that. They need new tools in their toolbox from somebody that understands team from a different outside level from what we're used to within the salon. Sometimes they get confronted. Their stuff will come out, their issues, their fears, their concerns. All that's going to come out during these trials and initiatives that we do. Give me a call. I'd love to have a conversation with you all. God bless. Have a great day. Peace.